Okay, so for those of you guys not in the entertainment business, I'm doing these to kind of show, like I said, what it's like as an actor trying to break into the business. Recently a article was released on the Hollywood Reporter that talked about casting workshops, which are basically these um, businesses set up where actors that are getting started in the business can meet with casting directors and do scenes for them, and it's a good way of getting to know the casting directors. Now, I don't want to get into the a lot of the debate about whether or not they're good or bad per se, because I know there's a lot of varying opinions, of which I feel both opinions from time to time, depending on the day. However, due to the Hollywood Reporter article, one of the big casting directors, Scott David, who does a lot of the workshops and who owns one of the workshop companies, was, I guess, let go by his show. And I just saw the article today, and I just wanted to kind of give my 2 cents on it as an actor trying to get started. Yeah, I think there's a lot of problems with, having a system where actors are paying to go in there and see the casting directors. However, I do think there's two things that the workshops in particular, or more than two things, but two things that the workshops definitely provide for actors that I think are really paramount, that I'm not sure that the Hollywood Reporter's article offered any solution for. There are so many actors in Los Angeles trying to get started, and the unfortunate truth of it is that when you're getting started, it is your own business. Everybody always tells you that. Their agents, your managers, casting directors, everybody tells you you are running your own business, so you have to invest in yourself. And I do agree with that. Whether I'm starting a pizza company or if I'm starting an acting career, it is up to me to market myself. And when workshops became prevalent, some of the other things like generals kind of fell by the wayside. But right now, when we're getting started, most casting directors, or at least it's been my experience, are not going off to see things that actors that they didn't know might be in. For instance, from my experience, they're not going to plays. They're not going to watch your film premieres, even if you are in a major festival in town. They're not going to that. They're not watching your clips online, and they're also not watching your reels, by and large. Now, I know that's not true for all of them, and I don't want a blanket statement at anybody, but it's been my experience that for most of them, they just don't have the time. So these workshops have been something that gave an opportunity to actors that have not been able to get in the door, whether it be because they're brand new or because their agents might not have the relationships with that specific casting director yet, or the managers might not have specific relationships, or maybe they don't have a specific look that gets them in the door that passes up the fact that they don't have credits. But these workshops provide those that are diligent and care enough about their career to actually invest in their own business. It provides those actors with an opportunity to get seen and to actually show what they have. And some of the cast directors, like Scott David, gave phenomenal feedback as to how they book their show. I can't say that's true for all of the cast directors that I see, but most of the cast directors, they do. They give you feedback as to how you did your scene, what they feel to be important in their office, and their personal beliefs as to how they book. And you might not even get that on an audition. If you were to get called in randomly for a show, you go in, you do the scene, you watch the show, you try to know the tone, you try to know as much as you can possibly know, but at the end of the audition, they're not necessarily going to get you feedback. However, when we're doing these workshops, like I have done multiple times with Scott David, he may give me a redirect. He may tell me I did a good job, but overall, he's going to give me feedback on his take on the scene, which allows me information that I can jot down and have a better idea of how to prepare a specific scene, not only for his show, but if I'm to be seen by him individually. And I seeing Scott got let go really kind of bugged me, because I have been one of those people that have invested my money and my time. And yeah, you can again argue as to whether or not you think workshops are, fair or unfair or whatever. Um, that's not my point to get into that. But I will say, as someone that did put that time in and did see the value in it, I feel like Scott was definitely is. It's not like it's gone or anything, but I feel like he's a guy that was really there for actors. And while he ran his show, Criminal Minds, I think he really invested time in giving good, honest feedback that personally I found to be not only right on point, um, but also incredibly helpful in the development of my career and how I audition, and um, uh, uh, how I prepare for any casting director or any auditions in the future. So I just think it's really kind of a bummer that the way it went down, and I also think it's really a bummer that the Hollywood Reporter came out here and did this article, which, obviously they have all rights to do, but they did it about, a decade late. They got on board about a decade after, these things have became prominent. So, good reporting there. And they also, within the article, didn't offer any other solutions. And I'm kind of curious as to if this becomes a thing where workshops become less prevalent. Where does it go from there? Do we go back to generals? And with the increased amount of actors in the last 15, 20 years, the likelihood of getting a general is going to be smaller and smaller and smaller. And I wonder where that's going to go. Are we going to see casting directors watching more reels again? Because if so, that's great. Watching clips. I don't know. My hope is that they don't go for people with a shitload of Twitter followers or some crap that has nothing to do with the business. But we'll see. But I just, like I said before, I'm doing these videos this year to just kind of express my personal experience and my personal journey trying to break into this business. So personally, I've had fantastic experiences at the workshops, and yeah, I don't have a lot of money. I'm struggling to get in, and what little money I do have, I'm choosing to reinvest in my career. And so it's really frustrating today to hear that someone that I invested quite a bit of time into, and I felt like was giving me a lot in return, lost something. So anyways, those are my thoughts, and I don't know if anybody's watching this shit, but if they are, those are my thoughts. And yeah, going to a workshop tonight, so hopefully it pays off.